definition of midpoint. Now, this is not the most technical definition, but my definition of midpoint is the point in the middle. Okay, so if we look at a segment, let's say I have X and I have Z. If I want a midpoint, it's the point in the middle. So I'm going to go to the middle. I'm going to put another point. I'm going to name that Y. Now, also, if it's the point in the middle, what do we know about this side and this side? And the answer there is they're congruent, or they're equal, because this is in the middle. So you can put these little tick marks, and those little tick marks kind of represent that things are equal. So then we can say, okay, well then segment XY is congruent to segment YZ because Y is a midpoint. So I know it's in the middle, so I know that this side is equal to this side. This right here is your definition of midpoint. Now let's see how that plays out in a proof. So work, reasons, number one. Remember, number one for our purposes is always given. You might see on your homework a couple examples where it's not the given, but for our purposes, always put given. And then we are given up here that C is the midpoint of AD. Okay, now step 2. If I know that C is the midpoint of AD, then what do I know about these two things? Well, I know they're equal. So I know that 4x is equal to 2x plus 12. But before you can say that, you need to actually use something about the midpoint. Well, that would be definition of midpoint. But definition of midpoint does not say that 4x equals 2x plus 12. The definition of midpoint says that AC is equal to CD. So we have to start there. So I'm going to say AC is congruent to CD, and that is definition of midpoint. Now that I know that, step 3, I'm going to look at AC and I'm going to go, okay, well, AC in my picture is the same as 4x. And then CD in my picture is the same as 2x plus 12. And that, when I go from AC to 4x, was substitution. From here, I'm going to go over and put some scratch work. So 4x equals 2x plus 12. And we are trying to prove that x equals 6. So I'm going to subtract 2x, which is 2x equals 12. Step 4, 2x equals 12. And what we did there was we subtracted 2x. So subtraction, property of equality. Next, I'm going to divide by 2, which is going to get me x equals 6. And I divided by 2, so that's division, property of equality. And then x equals 6, we were supposed to prove that x equals 6, all done.